lately when I couldn't even pray much, I couldn't read much, I've been so sick, so down, just with all that's going on in my life and heart. And was bad shape on Monday. I began to ask the Lord, I said, Lord, I need some answers. I just need some answers. I need some direction from you. Well, you know where you get direction, don't you?
Amen.
Yeah. Go to your daddy. Amen. Or me, you know, some of the crowds not like that, you know. Or you can go to Word of God. I chose the Word of God. And I thought, well, I've been preaching out of 1 Samuel here on Sunday mornings on the life of David and Saul. And I thought, well, I'll just read the book of 2 Samuel tonight. So I sat down, I went to bed, and I read the entire book of 2 Samuel. And God helped me find some things that was helpful to me. And then last night, I thought, well, I'll just read the book of 1 Kings. So I read the entire book of 1 Kings before I went to bed last night. And God helped me find some answers again. And before I went to bed, I had a little time left before I went to bed. So, well, I'll start reading some of the book of Matthew, start my daily Bible reading where I'm supposed to be at it. And so I came to Matthew, read to chapter number 7. Also read 1 Kings, entire book of 1 Kings, and through Matthew chapter 7 last night before I went to bed. And there's some things that just stood out to me. One statement in particular, and I didn't realize I was going to preach on it until about noon today. God kept dealing with me, and I looked at it a little bit ago. The Lord help us maybe. I know you're tired. I know it's a long passage. I'm not going to read the entire passage, but I want to deal with one verse, but I'm going to read several verses to get to that one verse. In Matthew 5, verse 17. Matthew 5, verse 17. Again, if you have to be seated, then go ahead and get up for 20 minutes or so. Matthew 5, 17. Jesus said, think not. Most of our problem comes from our thinking. Amen. And that's true. Most of our problem comes from our thinking. Think not. I'd be better off sometimes. I just couldn't think it all.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Amen. Think not. Paul said, I'll start reading one more time. Paul said, if there be anything in you, you better think on these things. Some things you better think on, some things you better not think on. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness, listen to this verse of Scripture, this is not going to deal with, but it fits in. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right? Then Jesus starts in verse 21. He says, you've heard that it's been said that you shall not kill. So he deals with assassination of somebody in verse 21. In 22, he starts and he deals with anger. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to read it right now. Yeah, I say unto you, whosoever is angry. So he deals with assassination in verse 21. He deals with anger in verse 22. He deals with an adversary in verse 25. Again, he said, agree with thine adversary. He deals with adultery in verse 27. He deals with denying the body and putting off the body, self-denial, in verse 29 and on. He deals with divorce in verse 31 and 32, and adultery. He deals in verse 33. He said that for swearing, performing oaths, so he deals with oaths. In verse 38, he said, you have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy cloak, let him have thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. Verse 41 is a verse. And whosoever will compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asketh thee, and turn from him that would borrow of thee turn not thou away. Then he deals with loving the enemy in verse 43. And I've got 4 words underscored in verse 4 and 44 in my Bible. But I say unto you, I've got the word love, your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. Pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. I've got love, bless, do good, and pray. According to my Bible. Verse 45. That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rise on the earth, evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. May God's blessings be added to his word. You can be seated. I want to, let me just say this verse. These verses deal with what's called the Sermon on the Mount. And that's what we title it. That's what's the reason for that. Jesus went up on the mountain there. And when he was set in verse 1, his disciples came to him and so on. And he began to teach these things that go through the entirety of chapter number 7. And we know that these are words given by the king. Matthew is the book of the kingship of Christ. And they're given by the king to tell how people should live in the kingdom of Christ. Now listen to that very closely. These are not words to get you saved by. Now I hear people talk about they want to live their life on the Sermon on the Mount. That's how you're going to get heaven. Oh, you don't want to try that. I'd rather try the law. I'd rather place myself under the law of God as the Sermon on the Mount. Now, I know you say that's crazy. We'll see why I say that in just a minute. The Sermon on the Mount is far more severe than the law. Amen. It really is. We're not saved by law. We know that according to Romans chapter 3. A man is not saved by law. He's not saved by works. He's saved by faith, justified by faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Without any degree of works. Amen. I know this is going on YouTube, and I will say it tonight to everybody listening here and everywhere else. You're not saved by your works. Amen. And you're not kept saved by your works. There's only 3 elements of salvation. One is grace. One is works saves, and works keeps you saved. That's the first thought. That's wrong. The second one is grace saved and works keep you saved. And the third one is grace saved and grace keeps you saved. And the Bible doctrine is that grace through faith saves you, and grace through faith keeps you saved. Amen. Amen. You're saved by the grace of God. Now, let me make 3 observations quickly about this chapter, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to preach on tonight. I'm not going to really deal with it. Just want to throw it out at you and kind of paint with a big brush and maybe you get the picture tonight. Let's make 3 observations about this chapter. Number 1, let's note to whom our Lord is speaking to. Who's he speaking to in this chapter? Look at chapter 5, verse 1. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. When he was set, his disciples came to him. So he's talking to the disciples. He's not talking to unsaved people. He's talking to letters of how that you and I are to practice our life as children of God. Amen. He's talking to the disciples. If you'll jump over to verse number 22, just keep up with me. If you jump at verse 22, he says this, I say to you, whosoever is angry with his brother without cause. He mentions again in verse 22, his brother. He mentions in verse 23, thy brother. He mentions in verse 24, thy brother. So he's talking to disciples and brethren, people that are saved and people that have responsibility to each other. May I say this, when God saved you, he gave us the responsibility not only to how we are to act before God, but how we are to be responsible to each other. Amen. Christianity is a responsibility Godward, and it is a responsibility manward. Yeah. Let me just say this real quickly. You understand that the law comes down to 2 elements. 10 major commandments Jesus gave on the Mount of Sinai, and they boil down to 2 major things. The first 4 deals with man's responsibility Godward. That's the Godward aspect. The second 6 deal with man's responsibility manward. Shalt not kill, shalt not steal, shalt not covet, shalt not bear false witnesses, and shalt not commit adultery, and so on. And so all of those 10 are summed up in 4 and 6. Now, if you look at what Jesus said, he said that the greatest commandment is thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, all thy strength. That's the embodiment of the first 4. Right. And the embodiment of the second 6 is, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So the law comes down to two realities. It is responsibility Godward and responsibility manward. And that's all your Bible's really about. It's a responsibility Godward and a responsibility manward. Amen. Amen. So he's talking about here to whom he's talking to. Notice secondly an observation about this chapter. Not only to whom he's talking about, but notice why he's talking. Why is he giving this? Well, look at verse 21. Look at your Bible. Keep your eyes on your Bible. Look at your Bible. Verse 21. You have heard that it was said by them of old time. Look at verse 22. But I say unto you. Look at verse number 27. You have heard that it was said by them of old time. Verse 28. But I say unto you. Look at verse 31. It hath been said. Verse 32. But I say unto you. Verse 33. Again, you have heard that it hath been said by them of old time. Verse 34. But I say unto you. Look at verse 38. You have heard that it hath been said. Verse 39. But I say unto you. Look at verse 43. You have heard that it hath been said. Verse 44. But I say unto you. Got that? 6 times Jesus said, this is what you've been taught. Here's what I want to tell you. And so the whom he's talking about is disciples and the brethren. But why he's talking this is he's trying to show the difference in the carnal mind and the consecrated mind. He's trying to show the difference in what he's trying to do is straighten out preconceived thinking. Right, yeah. Are you with me? Man. Come here now. He's trying to straighten out preconceived thinking. He said, this is what you've been taught. But here's what I'm telling you. This is what you've been taught, but here's what I'm telling you. He said this, you need to change your thinking, although it's what you've always been taught. You need to change your thinking to what I say about the thing after you get saved. Amen. Amen. There's room to preach right there. Amen. The biggest deal after you get saved, if you get saved in any age, is trying to take out the carnal mind and having it replaced with the spiritual mind of the Lord. Amen. Yes, sir. Amen. So, to whom our Lord is speaking, the disciples and the brethren. Why he's speaking is to straighten out preconceived thought. Now, notice what he's talking about. Not only whom he's talking to, why he's talking to them, but notice what he's talking about. I want you to listen to me very closely. Just a minute. If I can get this out, the way I typed it up, and get it out to you. He's speaking to show the difference in external actions and internal attitudes. Are you with me? Amen. He's trying to say there is a difference in an external action and an internal attitude. Let me explain. Look at verse 20. I'll come into one verse I want to deal with in just a minute. 2 or 3 verses actually. Look at verse 20. He said, I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. What's it mean right there? Okay, listen to me a minute. There is not many people that was living cleaner outwardly than the Pharisees. That's right. Yeah. They were tithing. They were praying. They were fasting. They were very religious in their outward organization and their outward actions. And Jesus said, if you're going to get to heaven, your righteousness has got to be deeper than outward actions. It's got to be inwardly from the heart. Yeah. Amen. In other words, you can do everything outwardly and dot every I and cross every T and still not be right with God inside in the inward man. Yes. Amen. Now, do I need to say more than that? Let me explain. Look at verse 21 and 22. And I'll come to what I'm going to say in just a minute. Look at verse 21. He said, you've heard that it said to them old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Look at verse number 27. He said, you have heard that it said to them old time, thou shalt not commit adultery, but I say to you, whosoever shall look on a woman, lust after her, commit adultery with her already in his heart. Jesus is saying this. Inward attitudes is greater than outward actions. That's deeper than the law. That's the reason I said a while ago, you don't want to try to get to heaven by the Sermon on the Mount.
Right.
In other words, I could never commit adultery outwardly and still be guilty of adultery inwardly.
Right.
In other words, Jesus is saying the righteousness that I'm talking about goes deeper than outward actions.
Amen.
Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
How many's with me out there?
Amen.
Oh, it's Wednesday night. You with me here now?
Blessing God.
You know what he said? And let me repeat it. Inward attitudes are more important than outward actions. That's the reason I said I don't want to try to go to heaven on the Sermon on the Mount. I've never committed adultery outwardly.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that.
Right, preacher.
But if you've ever listened, Jesus said you've already committed adultery inwardly. Which one's worse? The outward action or the inward attitude? Jesus has said this. One's not greater than the other. They're equal. Now, last night, I got to looking at verse 41. Thinking through some of this. And verse 41 stood out at me. Look at verse 41. And I want to deal with one thing tonight. Maybe in the days to come deal with others. But verse 41. Whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go in twain. I want to talk to you a minute on this thought tonight. With all that behind us, I want to talk to you on this thought. Going 2 miles in a 1 mile world. Y'all didn't get that? Or something. Going 2 miles in a 1 mile world. Now, the 1 mile terminology means this. That you do only what is expected of you. As far as you go. You do only what you feel to be your responsibility or your obligation. As far as you go. You do just enough to get by. You go just as far as you think, I've gone far enough. I've done, are you listening?
Amen.
I've done all that I'm going to do.
God help us.
I'm not going to follow. I know you've heard this statement, no doubt. Even if you're this kid, you've heard this statement. You need to go the extra mile. That's what he said. We're living in a 1 mile world. In a world that says go just do enough. Even at the job, it's that way. I'm going to go in late, and I'm going to do just enough to keep my boss from firing me.
Right, yeah.
Amen. I'm whoever they going to be tonight. Is that not right?
Amen.
I'm going to go in late. I'm not going to work at the job. I'm going to just live in a 1 mile world. I'm not going to go the extra mile. We do it in church life. I'm coming to one thing in a minute, and I'll get to it in just a minute. We do it in the church life. Amen. Help me, God.
Yeah.
Praise God, Master. You're doing pretty good. Amen.
Blessing God. Amen.
What you're supposed to do. Amen. We do it in our church life, is that not right? We live in a 1 mile world in our church life. We go when it's convenient. We come in late and leave early. Don't tithe, never witnessed anybody. Don't give to missions. Church is forgotten the minute we walk out the door. We just go to church in a 1 mile world concept. Help me out there.
Blessing God.
We do the same thing in our home.
Yeah, amen.
We forget of Christianity the minute we walk out the door and forget to take it in our house with us. May I say this? The most important place that you ought to put Christianity to practice above everywhere else is in the 4 walls of your house.
Amen. Yeah.
If it ain't practiced there, it won't be worth 10 cents here nor nowhere else. Amen, thank God. I don't want to have a 1 mile church, a 1 mile Christian life just kneel down at the church house.
Come on. Yes, sir. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Now, the term go twain, or go 2 miles, means do this. You're willing not just to do what is expected of you, or responsible, or obligated, or you feel just enough, you're to go beyond that. You're to go beyond what you feel is enough.
Amen.
Now, the examples of that is in verse 38. That's not what I'm going to deal with. I'll get to what I'm going to deal with real quickly, if the Lord help me. Verse 38. He said, you've heard that's been said, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, here's the old concept, get even, whatever you want to do. Verse 39. But I say unto you, resist not evil. Whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. That's living a 2-mile world in a 1-mile world.
Yeah.
Hey, help me, God, and I don't know why prayer means a difference.
Bless him, God.
Bless him.
He said, if a man strikes you, in a 1-mile world, you won't slap him back.
Right.
Is that not the truth?
Yeah, amen.
But the 2-mile world turns the cheek. It goes beyond the normal, beyond the natural, beyond the expected, beyond the obligation, beyond the responsibility. It goes beyond what says, I have a right, I can do enough, this is enough, I've gone far enough. It does not say that, it turns the other cheek.
Yeah.
I wonder in my mind, honestly, I know the Bible does not say this, but I wonder in my mind, when Jesus is in Pilate's hall, and they slap him, I wonder in my mind if he might have turned the other cheek though.
Amen.
Now you say that's not natural. No, it's not natural. But that's what he's saying. Except your righteousness. You've got to go beyond the 1-mile world to live for God. Let me tell you this. If you plan on living for God in a 1-mile world all your life, you're going to be a failure.
Yeah, amen.
Now, look again just a minute in verse 39. Oh, I don't even get to what I'm going to say. Maybe this is what I need to say. Verse 39, say it again. You resist not evil. Whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Now, I'm going to just be honest with you. That's hard to practice.
Amen. Yes, sir.
I hope I'd have grace when you men ever hit me. But I don't know I'm that spiritual, so you better not try.
Yeah, amen.
Now, I'm just being honest, Brother Dave Ward.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Man will slap me, I'm not knock one of your teeth out if it's pretty loose. If it ain't pretty loose, I'll just loosen it and then knock it out. I mean, really, I'm just being honest. That's hard to practice.
Yes, sir.
Somebody do you wrong. And instead of wanting to get back even with them, thank God, I'm glad our Lord, amen, I'm glad our Lord lived his life in a 2-mile world, amen. He came down from heaven, thank God, and walked in a robe of flesh and blood, and when he was reviled, he reviled not again. When he was threatened, he opened not his mouth. He was led as a lamb before his shears is dumb, and so he opened not his mouth.
Yeah, amen. Glory.
He said, that's how you ought to live. That's how I ought to live. Amen. I've got to move on because I want to get to what I want to say. He says this again, verse 40. Any man will sue thee at the clothes, take away the coat. They may have your cloak also. They may have to get your coat, give him the outer garment, give him your cloak. That's living life in a 2-mile world. Y'all listen to what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir. Amen.
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 You understand what I'm not talking about legalism for salvation. He's not talking about how you get saved. He's talking about how you live after you're saved.
Right.
He's not talking to sinners. He told us in verse 1 that he's talking to disciples, by the way. The word disciples in your Bible is the word mathetes, M-A-T-H-E-S-E, mathetes. And it means, number 1, it means a follower. Number 2, it means a pupil. Number 3, it means an imitator. He said, I'm talking to those who are willing to follow me, learn from me, and imitate me. Amen. Amen. Can we really say we're a Christian if we don't imitate Christ?
That's a good question. Amen.
Hey. So that's what he said in verse 41. Whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, walk 2 miles, go the second mile. Now I want you to admit tonight that most of us live in a 1-mile world. If we're compelled, we'll go the first one. But we've got to be compelled to do that. Hello.
Amen.
Is that not the truth? We've got to be compelled to do that. But he said, show that what you're doing is not being compelled, but it's voluntary. I'll walk with you in a second. I'll go further than you've asked me. I'll go further than I'm expected. I'll go further than I'm obligated. I'll go further than I'm responsible to go. I'll show you the life of Christ and reveal to you Christ in me, not just by my outward actions, but by my inward attitude.
Amen.
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 Now, I want to deal with something tonight that I know you are dying to hear. I want to deal with verse 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. I want to talk about a minute going the second mile with anger. Look at verse 21. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill. And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. He's dealing with assassination right there. Verse 22, but I say unto you, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall say to his brother, ready cut, shall be in danger of the council. Whosoever shall say thou art a fool shall be in danger of hell fire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and thou rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar. Go thy way, first be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. Now, we'll deal with three things, several things under them, and I don't know how much we'll get other than kill and die. But let me say number one, he's talking about here harmony with a brother, going the extra mile to get along with the brother. The harmony with the brother, the command. May I say, God commands us to get along with each other.
Amen.
Now, I know, as far as I know, there's no troubles in this church. I don't know nobody's angry at me. I know one or two that would probably be, if they could, just a little bit. They stayed about half miffed at me. And not nobody here tonight, quite honestly. But we're commanded in the Bible to try to get along with each other. Now, say number one, it's commanded for the family. We're commanded as a family. That's what we are. We're a family.
Amen.
We're not individual people. We're a family.
Amen.
We're the body of Christ. We're members in particular, but a body in specific, and we all work together to get along with each other to accomplish the cause of Christ.
Right. Amen.
Look at Ephesians 4. I can quote it, but I want you to read it. Help me, Lord, tonight.
Amen.
Ephesians 4. Look at verse number 1. Ephesians 4, verse 1. Ephesians 4, verse 1. I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you, I beg you, I plead with you, that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness. And that word lowliness means having a humble opinion of oneself, a deep sense of one's littleness. Boy, we need that.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
A humble opinion of ourselves. You've
Yes.
never seen so many arrogant people.
Amen.
Help me, Lord. With all lowliness and meekness. That word meekness means humility of mind. With long suffering, forbearing one another. Amen. Boy, how we could preach right here for hours, and I'll never get through what I'm going to do tonight. Forbearing one another. We just have to put up with each other.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody here tonight, if I stayed around you long, I'd be mad at you.
Yeah. You're right.
And if you stayed around me long, you'd be mad at me. I remember Calvin Queen once years ago. Oh, Brother Calvin, I said, Brother Calvin, I just wish that you and Miss Sister Betty live close to us. We live close to you all, where we could just see you every little bit and talk and have a good time together. He said, Brother Buster, probably wouldn't work. I said, why not? He said, we'd probably get aggravated with one another.
Yeah. You're right.
Withdraw thy foot from the house of thy help me there? But Brother Dennis, which one is it? Brother, I think it is. Withdraw thy foot from the house of thy brother, lest he be weary with thy coming.
Yeah.
That's hard to swallow, ain't it? Karen, would y'all let me come in every evening? Knocking on your door about supper time. About the time the dishes gets ready to be done up, I come and eat up the rest of what's there, and then go to the house and let you clean it all up. I'd get tired of you. I don't want you at my porch every night. Long suffering. Just putting up with each other. Forbearing one another. Every married man, every married woman at times have to be long suffering.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody here been married tonight in that time ain't had to put up with some things. You had to go the second mile in your life many times. Help me, God.
Bless him, Lord.
And we'll have to do that as Christian people as well.
Amen.
With long suffering, forbearing one another, endeavoring. And the word endeavor means to do it with speed, quickly, to do it properly. Endeavoring with speed to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. We're commanded by God as a family not to be angry with one another, to have harmony with each other. Amen. Help me, Lord. I ain't done here. Look at chapter 4, if you will, and the last three verses. There are 2 verses. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking put away from you. With all malice, be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. Can you write Matthew 5:41 right there? That you need to go the extra mile and not be bitter and wrathful and anger and clamorous. That means loud, noisy, arguing and talking and evil speaking. Put away from you with malice, be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, and go the extra mile to forgive one another when you got troubles against each other. Amen. Help me, y'all, tonight. I'm preaching y'all off quiet.
Yes, sir. Amen.
That's the Word of God. Look, if you will, on over, if you please, to Colossians chapter 3. While you're there, I'll turn my Bible, but turn to Colossians 3. Look at the verse there. Colossians 3:13. Forbearing one another and forgiving one another. That's going the extra mile. If any man have a quarrel, the word quarrel in your Bible, it means to find fault and find blame. That's the literal meaning of the word. It's a word from Monvi. And it means literally to find fault and to find blame. If any of you look at it in that connotation, look at it again, verse 13. Forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any of you have found fault with another, if any of you blaming somebody else against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. He didn't say do it if you felt like it. He said do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Help me, God. Some of y'all get in here.
Yeah, amen.
He said just do it.
Amen.
That's what the 1 mile world says. I forgave you once.
Yeah.
I forgave them twice. But they came to Jesus and said, Lord, if my brother sinned against me, how many times should I forgive him?
Oh, my. Amen.
7 times. Burnt biscuits. Make up the bed. Didn't mow the grass right. Preacher wasn't there on time. Preacher didn't say the right thing. I didn't do this. Till 7 times, Lord. The Lord said, no, I say unto you. That's the 1 mile world. The 2 mile world says, till 70 times 7.
Amen.
That's the 2 mile world. Most of us like to live in that 1 mile world.
Yeah, amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
This is what Romans 12 says. You don't have to turn there. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. hand. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head. Be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. That's the 2-mile word.
Yeah.
I'm headed to leave, ain't headed.
Yes, sir. Amen. Bless him, God.
I read of a man that had a flock of sheep. I read this years ago. We had a flock of sheep. The neighbor had a bad dying dog, killed a dog. The neighbor's dog was killing the sheep. He thought about going over and just killing his neighbor's dog. A wise old man told him, said, I'll tell you how to deal with that. He said, how? He said, he's got 3 little young'uns. Give all 3 of them young'uns a lamb. He took all 3 young'uns a lamb over there. And them little young'uns loved that little lamb. And the man tied his dog.
Yeah, amen.
He done good for that. And it done good for that. Now he going the extra mile. Hey!
Amen.
It settled the issue. We're commanded to be in harmony with our brother within the family, but it's good for the fellowship. Listen to this. Amen. I'll ask you to turn there. Psalm 133, 1 through 3. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together. How? In unity. It's like the precious ointment upon the behead that ran down from Aaron's beard, even Aaron's beard down to his skirt. He said, for there the Lord commanded the blessing. Amen. Where we get along, God commands a blessing.
Yeah, amen.
Well, how many people come into this church in the last several years, visiting people? And many of them said the same thing to me. I feel the love of God. That's what all of them.
Amen.
We're commanded for the family. We're commanded for the fellowship. Now, now look at that. Go back to Matthew chapter 5. Go back to Matthew chapter 5. Stay with me a few minutes here. Talk about anger. Not only we see the harmony with a brother, the command, we see the hostility toward a brother, the cost. Notice what he said. He mentions assassination in verse 21. He mentions anger in verse 22 through 24. He mentions an adversity in verse 25 and 26. And then he mentions adultery in verse 27. Now listen to me closely. I find it interesting that Jesus placed anger right between murder, assassination, and adultery. It's interesting. You know what Jesus is saying? Now, we know how bad assassination or murder is. Every civilized society places murder at the height of all crimes.
Yeah.
Even to the point, what's the penalty of murder in the Bible?
Yeah.
The death penalty. But wait a minute. Listen to me closely. The third thing he mentions here is adultery. What was the penalty for adultery in the Bible?
Death. Stone.
It was death. Between the death penalty on assassination and the death penalty on adultery, he puts anger right between them. And what he's saying, he's categorizing anger with assassination and adultery.
Wow. Amen.
He's saying that anger is as big a sin as assassination, and anger is as big a sin as adultery. Wow. And he's saying that anger has the same penalty as adultery and assassination. You say, how do you know that? Look at verse 22. He said in verse 21, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Judgment's going to fall upon the man that commits murder. Verse 22, I say to you, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall be, say to his brother, Rachel, shall be in danger of the council. Whosoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hell fire. He said, you're just and great. Amen. Listen to me.
Blessing
I
God.
had 3 hours to deal with this tonight. Listen to me. He said, you are just as in great of a danger of God judging you when you allow your anger to rule you as you do to murder somebody or to commit adultery with somebody.
Amen.
You're in the same danger. He said, God will not let a murderer die, and we have that in the Bible. And God won't let an adulterer die. Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable above all, the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. God said a man that commits adultery is in danger of the judgment of God, and a man that commits assassination or murder is in danger of the judgment of God, and a man that lives his life letting anger control him is in danger of the judgment of God. Now, I don't know all I can know about anger. I ain't even started this now. Some people don't have that problem. Others have that. Now, you've heard it, Brother Buster, and I've heard it. And I do think there's something to it. That it just runs in their blood. Now, Dorothy's family, they're kind of meek people, most of them. She's got one sister's a little wiry, and one brother's a little wiry. And the rest of them pretty good people. Except the one I married, you know. And her brothers and her sisters are quiet natured and easygoing and all of that, meek, and kind, tender, you know. And it was just in their fit. But my family, I grew up, and all my people were just this mean devils, you know. And had temper. Y'all got temper? Don't lie. Y'all got temper. You got 3 people with a temper, and the rest of you are liars. Women, I've never met a woman yet that admitted she had a temper. They get mad and hurt.
Yeah.
Most of you men afraid you can shake your head right there, you'll get a whooping. Now I'm telling you, how big a deal is anger? Listen a minute at the definition of anger. Webster says anger is the primary sense of the word is to strangle. You ever said? Well, let me do that one. Webster says the primary sense of anger is to strangle or to choke. I bet you've never said. You know what I'm thinking. Just like a choke, man. It means to strain or draw together. It means literally to press or to squeeze and to make narrow. That's the definition. It means a violent passion of the mind excited by a real or suppressed injury, usually accompanied with a propensity to take vengeance or to take satisfaction for the offense against you.
Wow.
One Greek writer said this, I read somewhere. He said, anger is a bad feeling toward another human being, an attitude which wishes harm to another. Let me explain that. It does not mean just wishing to harm another, but it wishes harm to another.
Right.
Whether you do it or somebody else does it, you just hope something happens and they get hurt. Now, I ain't getting started. I'm just barely started, but we're going to quit somewhere. There's 2 words in the Bible that deals with anger. There's first the word thumos, Thumos, thumos. Listen, everybody listen. It means quick burst of anger. It's anger that rises and dies quickly and can be put out before it can cause damage. A quick surge of anger. It's like pulling on a weed eater that won't stop. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Beat one down. Pulled on one once that got some ad years ago, and I beat the handle out of it around the tree. Beat it to little pieces, and felt good about every bit of it. I ain't never repented of it. I read this somewhere some months back. Listen to this. Every year in America, 14, most of them's all boys, 14 young men get killed every year with a Coke machine. Literally. They put their money in, the Coke won't come out, they shake it and jar it and shake it and jar it till they jar it from the wall, and it falls on them and kills them. In a moment of rage and anger, thumos, they destroyed something or got destroyed. The other one is the word orgy, O-R-G-E, and it means sensual passion. It's a long-lived anger, an anger that will not be let go of.
Right.
And we all get angry quickly sometimes, and it's over with. I've never had any bitter resentment against that weed eater that I beat up. That anger rose, it burned, I beat the thing to death, and the anger died and I forgot it. That's two modes anger. But that other anger, that orgy anger, that anger that's a hot passion, that just lingers around. That's what Jesus is talking about here. That anger that don't just rise and it's over with, but it rises and it don't forgive and forget and move on. There's a definition of anger. I ain't going to talk too much about this. There's the defense of anger in your Bible. Jesus said, be ye, or Paul said, be ye angry and sin not. There is a righteous indignation. Mark chapter 3 verse 5, when he had looked round about on them with anger, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he said to the man, stretch forth thy hand. He stretched forth his hand and restored it his whole. The Bible said Jesus got angry.
Right.
Righteous or justified anger is anger at sinful and wrong things. You can be angry and not sin. I feel that way every day about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. I don't think I sin. Every once in a while I like to throttle them. Choke. Really? But then when I get that feeling in my mind, there's something inside of me that tells me that I'm letting that thing go too far.
Right. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this for a minute. Not only the defense of anger, the definition of anger. Listen to me real closely. There's the development of anger. What happens? What causes anger? Listen to me closely. What causes anger? What causes you to get mad? Now, I do believe some of you blood. How many of y'all, honestly, be honest with me now, how many of y'all have people in your life that will just meet, family, maybe grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, just meet people, just see them? Come on, how many would say I've had people in my life that were just hot-tempered? I won't go and fail to say how many of you are hot-tempered. You drop a piece of paper on the floor and decide to pick it up right there. What causes anger? I want you to listen closely. Is it going to hit? It's going to hit you or hurt you. I want you to know what causes anger? Selfishness. Selfishness.
Good.
All three of the sins Jesus mentioned here: assassination, anger, and adultery are traced to selfishness. An overabundance of love for self and an underabundance of love for others. Selfishness. A lack of love for others and too much love for yourself causes you to commit these three sins: murder, anger, and adultery. The second thing that develops anger is pride. When to shout tonight, I'm trying to hit it. Pride, ego.
Yeah.
The third thing that causes you to get angry is control. Some of y'all are trying to hold a grin down, and some of you are trying to hold a frown down. You're trying to act like this ain't bothering you, and I'm not guilty. I'll tell you right now, you probably are.
Yes. Amen. Help us, God.
Control. Want to control everybody and everything, usually leads to anger. I get that way sometimes. I never forget years and years ago. I told you how Dorothy preaches. I'm going to She preaches sometimes to me. I don't like it. Never forget one time I come home years ago. I don't remember what it was. Something had happened, and I was kind of moody and kind of pouty. Y'all don't get that way. I know you don't. Y'all looking at you. Kind of moody and kind of pouty. I hadn't seen her for a while, and she said, "What happened? Something didn't go your way." I wanted to slap her. Not really, but I did. It aggravated me. Something just didn't go your way. When things ain't going your way, you can't control everything. And let me tell you something. Young and old, let me tell you something. Life is not going to go your way.
Yeah, amen.
That's right. Amen.
There's things going to happen all the course of your life, from teenage years to an old man, that you wish you could control, but then just let it go and don't get angry about it. Mistreatment or hurt, emotionalism, those things causes anger to develop. Oh, I'd like to get through at least this one part of it. Not only the development of anger, there's the deepening of anger. What causes it to deepen? Give me 3 words, you write them down. It causes anger to develop, to deepen. 1, brooding. Wait, this spiritual. I mean, everyone ain't this real spiritual.
Yes, sir.
It's probably deeper than we're living.
Amen.
Brooding. Anger, growing, deepening, festering, and lingering. Listen, unchecked anger will eventually lead to uncontrolled actions.
Amen.
Unchecked anger births uncontrolled actions. If you don't check your anger, it will eventually lead into unchecked actions. Brooding over it. This is what the Bible says. Psalm 37:4-8, cease from anger. Stop it. And forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Ecclesiastes 7:9, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the heart or bosom of what? Fools. Isn't it interesting that somebody that's mad can look at somebody, we'll deal with that in a minute if I don't get to it, they can look at them and call them a fool while they're mad, and all they're doing is revealing what a fool they are.
Yeah.
Anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Young people like to talk about, man, I've got a temper. I kept something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd remove the C and put an F right there, you'd have it.
That's right. Yeah.
Y'all didn't get that.
That's right.
C-O-O-L, cool. Take the C off and put an F there, F-O-O-L. You go from cool to a fool. That's what the Bible says. There's the brooding of anger. There's the bitterness of anger. Anger that's nursed and deepened soon turns to bitterness. This happened to Cain. It happened to Esau. It happened to Joab. It happened to Abner. It happened to Ahithophel. And it happened to Saul. And it happened to the Pharisees. They got bitter to the point that they finally killed Jesus. Are y'all listening?
Listen to her.
The bitterness of anger. I read once, I don't know where I wrote this down. I wrote this some of the stuff down a long time back. I read one time once somebody said, murder is a real relationship killer. Murder is a real relationship killer. But I wrote down on my side of that, so is anger. Anger will do the same thing to a relationship that murder will.
Yeah, amen.
And then there's the barriers that are built. Look at the danger of anger. Look at verse 22. 3 times in verse 22, he said, if you get angry, you're in danger. If you get angry, you're in danger. If you get angry, you're in danger. Listen to the word danger. Listen at me. I'm coming. I've got to quit here in a bit. Listen to the word danger. The word danger means to become exposed or open to injury. Look here. Jesus said, if you get angry, you are exposing yourself to injury. you are opening yourself up to injury. He says, first, you're in danger of the judgment, you're in danger of the council, and I'll be honest, I can't grasp this term, you're in danger of hellfire. That's what he says in that verse. 3 things. You get angry with your brother, you're in danger of judgment, you're in danger of the council, you're in danger of hellfire. But I know this, what he's saying. Let's just close. Come here now. I'll be done here in a few minutes. I ain't going to go to the next truth, I don't think. Here's what he said. If you get angry, you are exposing yourself to being judged first by the human courts, and then secondly, from the heavenly courts. You're exposing yourself to judgment. That's what he said. Look at it. I'm going to finish this up quickly. Look at verse 22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall say to his brother raper shall be in danger of the council. Those are human courts. Notice the colon after the word cancer, or council. The first two is you're in danger of being exposed to the human courts. But whosoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hellfire, that's a heavenly court. Now, he's talking about this. He said, judgment certain. Thou shalt by no means come out, verse 26. He said, you will not get by judgment. Come here, listen. I'm talking to somebody. Oh, what the problems that anger has caused in the human court. How many people, Brother Dennis, went to court because of anger?
That's true, yeah.
Fines, jail sentences, real scars. I'm talking about real scars, emotional scars that can never be removed because somebody in a moment of rage and anger acted out and he wound them up in the human court. Now, I can't get by all this, but notice what he said in verse 26. He said that you'll not come out until you've paid the uttermost farthing. He said it's going to cost you something. Anger will always cost you something. You'll not get out. What he said, judgment certain. No pleading by mother, no pleading by daddy, no pleading by the preacher, the politician, no pleading from anybody. Sometimes when your anger gets out of control, nobody's pleading will stop it. You will be judged because of your anger. Brother Matthew, I have a friend tonight. I've not seen him. I've not seen him in 38 years. He got married. We was the same age. At this time, he was 21 years old. His name was Gary Byington. He had just got married, 21 years old. He came in from work one day at dinner, unsuspectingly. His wife didn't know he was coming home. After they'd been married about a year, and he found her in bed with another man. He left in anger. This is what he tells me. You say, I don't believe it. I don't know. If you could talk to the boy, I believe what he told me. I really do. He said, I was so mad, I lost my mind. He said, I drove down the road, I had a gun in my gun pocket. I turned around, went back, walked in the house and killed them both. Judge slapped the gavel. I went to see Gary a few days after that, and he was in jail, and all he was doing was sitting and crying. I looked at him through the belt to Mars and held hands with him and prayed with him. In a few days, the judge slapped the gavel and said, I sentence you to 40 years in Bladden Correctional Institute. Gary's been there for 38 years. He's got 2 more years for it. Adultery didn't put him in prison. Murder didn't put him in prison. The adulterous affair of his wife didn't put him in prison, and murder didn't put him in prison. What put him in prison was anger.
That's true, yeah.
I'm saying that judgment is certain, judgment is costly, you'll pay the utmost farthing, and judgment is critical. He said this thing can send you to hell. Too much to go to finish. He said with that temper, you better quit living in a 1 mile world. You better beg God Because I look at anger the same way I look at assassination and adultery. Anger, assassination, and adultery. Jesus is not just saying, listen to me, Jesus is not just saying that anger leads to murder. He's saying anger is murder. Just like looking on a woman to lust is adultery. Getting angry with thy brother without a cause is murder. How many people tonight, lives have been destroyed by anger? I remember a boy going to school. I told you the other day, didn't I? I remember a boy that going to school. He was fighter, I was kind of scrappy, and he was kind of scrappy. We just scrapped together. Never did whoop him. I remember him telling me once, he said, if you just shut up, I won't hit you no more. I did, and he did. Anger resteth in the bosom of fools. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Amen.
I don't doubt there's not anybody in here that's got anger. Seriously. But I'm telling you, it's not good for that anger to control you. If you've got an anger problem, you need to beg God to get that under control before it destroys relationships. It destroys churches, it destroys homes, it destroys schools. Just anger. Just a moment of letting your mouth fly off. More in there I didn't get to now. It reminds me of an article in a real spiritual piece I read one day. The Comics. And it's about Snoopy. Snoopy's more spiritual than most Baptists. Lucy said the other day, Lucy said to Snoopy, sometimes I just love you and I like to hug you. And sometimes I just hate you and you bug me to death. And Snoopy said, I'm that way. I'm huggable and lovable. Huggable and buggable, that's what he said. I'm huggable and buggable. Sometimes we're huggable and sometimes we're buggable. And I'm the first one tonight that will admit I've allowed my anger to get out of control sometimes. I beat that weed eater up. There was really no repercussions to that other than the fact that I had to go down to the weed eater. God done so a bit. And Dorothy and I had been married about a year. When that happened, we was going to have Easter Sunday dinner at my mom and dad's house. And the yard was filled up, and I thought I'd go up there real quick and find out, mow the yard and get it fixed for Easter, make it look pretty, weed and everything. And the weed eater wouldn't cooperate. And we hadn't been married long, and Dorothy thought I was the sweetest fellow in the world. I pull on that thing, I get to running, and I think it's okay to sit down there, then you and die. That went on. It was pretty hot. It wasn't hot as I was getting. She was standing like, they didn't hear that door over there, watching the whole deal. That's why I lost it. I beat the handlebars off that thing around the tree. I demolished it. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. I looked around at Dorothy and she's sitting in the truck with the doors locked. Weed eater got over it. That left an impression on my life. I could buy another